All right, a big road win for San Diego State on the road at Boise State. 76-68 is the final. Obviously, coming off of that Utah State game, I thought that was the worst half of basketball that I've watched as an Aztecs basketball fan, maybe ever. I know I'm not, an old guy or anything, but there's a lot of halves of basketball still that I've watched, and so that's a lot of opportunities to have a bad half, and that's right at the top there. I know that maybe that's recency bias, but there's not one that immediately comes to mind. So how were they going to rebound? Going on the road, and because they don't charter every flight, they only pick like a few, I think, every year, and they try to be very careful, strategic with how they pick those flights. San Diego State was delayed, I believe, according to Mark Ziegler, so they got in late, um, but they were able to still come out, have a good performance. The free throws, obviously, that's going to be something that Dutch is going to harp on, I assume, coming off of this game, because it was closer than what this score says there at the end. It was a two possession game. Now, Boise State, I thought that, maybe they got too aggressive there and they could have went for a ball in the paint instead of just immediately trying to shoot for a three when they were down, I think, five late in this game, late in the second half. But, San Diego State was fortunate that Boise State did miss all of those threes, and then that allowed them to, obviously, you work down the clock, and then you make some of the free throws there at the end, but not as many as you should. They were 62.5% from the free throw line, and a lot of those were late in this game, and there were a lot of clinks. So hopefully they can clean that up. I know I should be talking about all the positives coming off of this win, but talking about recency, I just watched that. So yeah, that wasn't pretty. But what we also just watched was Miles Byrd having a career game for him, right? I think John Schaefer tweeted out career high for Miles Byrd, 22 points. I know he shoots left-handed, but still, just watching it, to go to your right like he did in the first half, as you're falling away, shoot with the left and nail it like he did, that was a pretty darn good shot. Um, he's confident. He is, I think him and Nick Boyd are like the passionate ones on this Aztecs team. Like how Profar's like that, Tatis is like that with the Padres. Merrill is also like that. I would, if we're trying to make comparisons, I would link those guys up if that makes sense. Um, John Schaefer also tweeted out, by the way, great follow, obviously, on social media, and he does the Aztecs pre and post on the radio, and he will, I assume, be taking over once Ted Leitner steps away after this season on the basketball. But he tweets out San Diego State is 34-4 in its last 38 games coming off a loss. That's incredible and good coaching. Obviously, at the end, for anyone that was watching this game live, you could hear Brian Dutcher. They had the mic somewhere close. You heard him getting on his players and how he was still animated with what was going on there. John Rothstein, obviously, if you follow college basketball, you know who John Rothstein is. He says San Diego State's win at Boise State is its second quad one win of the season. I assume the first is the win against Houston. Pretty remarkable how well the Aztecs have played without Reese Waters. Incredible culture in the Aztecs program. I agree. Like if I were to see some of the results San Diego State has had without Reese Waters, I would agree with that statement. But as someone that has been watching every Aztecs game and I see the talent of Miles Byrd, some things we've seen from Magoon Guath, I thought we saw pretty darn good performance today from Taj DeGorville off the bench, 13 points for him. He probably will end up being a starter for San Diego State here down the road. I think he's just a freshman. But seeing some of these performances, BJ Davis at the beginning of the year, JCJ has had some moments. I'm not that surprised with how San Diego State is playing, and just San Diego State overall with the culture. They're going to be in it. They're going to contend for the conference year in, year out. We'll see what happens when they move to the Pac-12. By the way, they will contend still for that, but I'm just wondering with Gonzaga in there, we'll see. But those matchups will be elite. But as for today at Boise State, another quad one win. I put Utah State in there as well as like tough Wyoming, obviously, tough environments to play in, and especially when it's not just you're going to Boise, but no, it's a good Boise State team as well. That obviously makes this win even more impressive, in my opinion, for San Diego State. So now they're 9-3, 2-1 in the conference. But yeah, Miles Byrd, I've seen him just get better and better, more comfortable. Again, the enthusiasm, that's obvious. The passion, that is obvious. If you were watching late in this game, when it was obvious that the Aztecs were going to win this game, and how I think it was DeGorville that he was obviously excited, but it just reached a different level of excitement when he got to DeGorville there, while they were, marching back and forth doing the free throws. But yeah, this is a team that if things are clicking, the defense that's going to be there, if they're going to make free throws, if they're going to do the little things right, then this team is going to be able to contend with pretty much every team in the country, I would imagine. Getting Reese Waters back, would that be nice? Yeah, of course. But there are still guys that can shoot. We've seen that Miles Byrd can shoot. We've seen this year EJ Davis can shoot. We've seen this year that Nick Boyd can shoot. And we'll see about, obviously, with the rest of the way with the minutes and how those go. And we'll see if Reese Waters comes back. That would be great if the Aztecs could get Reese Waters back. But even without him, there are things that we know are going to be there, and there is talent on this team. So I thought it was great, getting out to that narrow lead after the first half, but 33-32, you hang in there on the road and then go win that second half. And that's how you can win games. And San Diego State was able to do that. Obviously, if you get out to an early lead and then you play it close in the second half, you can win that way as well. But I wasn't necessarily expecting San Diego State to get out to a big lead on the road against Boise State. But I think, the better team did. I was about to say pull away. Maybe not. Maybe that's not the best way to put it, because they didn't make as many free throws as they should have. They're late in this game, obviously, in the second half. But the better team won the game. Would we like to be double digits? Sure. But I'm going to take a win on the road at Boise State any day. I don't really care what the score is. And again, quad one victory. Where are they in the net? John Schaefer always puts that out. So they were number 43 to start the day. Now they're 34. Oh, not the net. Sorry. KenPom. The KenPom rankings. 43-34 now after that win at Boise State. So now, coming up for the Aztecs, let's see who they got coming up. I haven't looked at the schedule. Air Force on the 8th. So what is that, Wednesday? Air Force at New Mexico versus Colorado State. So obviously into conference play now. That game at New Mexico should be interesting. That's another, especially obviously when like Jalen House was there. Those were like must-watch games. This was another one that I was like, all right, when's the game today? Got to watch that. And I'm glad the Aztecs were able to get that win. But yeah, your thoughts on this game in the comments. Miles Byrd, if he continues to progress like this and he can shoot the ball the way that he was able to shoot today, obviously, again, like I said earlier, the defense is going to be there. We'll see if they can get Reese Waters back for March. If they do, man, that's like a big trade deadline addition for the Padres if we're going to compare the two, right? So we'll see. But yeah, a good day for the Aztecs for the most part, I think, today on the road.